Hello and welcome to Shibi Travels. Today I'm in Norfolk, Virginia, and I'm going to show you around the MacArthur Memorial. So the MacArthur Memorial is located in downtown Norfolk by Banks Street. Let's go up these stairs and enter the museum. For the record, this is free to the public, so there is no entrance fee. As you can see here, it's open Tuesdays to Saturdays and closed on Sundays. Here we go. You're gonna see this beautiful, elegant lobby, and you see the names of the cities and towns where he made an impact. You see Manila, Tokyo, places in South Korea. So you're gonna see it all around in a circle. And then I'm gonna show you where he is entombed. This is the tomb of Douglas MacArthur and his wife, Jean MacArthur. Douglas MacArthur was one of the most enigmatic and charismatic figures in the Second World War. In this museum, you will see everything from his birth, everything about his family until his death. His wife donated everything to this museum. These are some of the MacArthur family heirlooms. They're silverware. So his father, Arthur MacArthur, was already stationed in the Philippines because the Philippines became a U.S. territory as a byproduct of the Spanish-American War. MacArthur was already familiar with the Philippines before the Second World War started. When his father's career ended in the Philippines, they came back to the States. His father witnessed the Aguinaldo Proclamation in 1898. Aguinaldo is the first president of the Republic of the Philippines. This is the military footlocker of Douglas MacArthur. You can see some of his stuff, memorabilia now for his footlocker. War Plan Orange, which is written in the left lower hand corner of your screen, is an agreed upon strategy with Washington and Douglas MacArthur that was used in the Second World War, which was to go to Bataan and wait for reinforcements should the Japanese invade the Philippines. Bataan is a peninsula in the largest islands of the Philippines, Luzon. It sticks out like a thumb by the Manila Bay. These are just information about MacArthur's family. The Tidings-McDuffie Act was signed before the Second World War, and it paved the way for Philippine independence. That means that the Philippines was no longer a U.S. territory, and instead, it was a member of the U.S. Commonwealth. Still, American military was responsible for protecting the Philippines at that time, as well as training the newly formed Philippine Army. However, at that time, the Philippine Scouts was already well trained and established, but they only had 10,000 to 12,000 soldiers. Douglas MacArthur was the Philippine military advisor when the Philippines became a member of the Commonwealth. When Douglas MacArthur left Bataan for Australia, it was General Jonathan Wainwright who was left behind to command the remaining USAFFE. Japan invaded the Philippines 4 hours after Pearl Harbor. This photo is the one and only photo of his visit to Bataan during the entire war. He was always located in Corregidor Island. This is the photo of the famous Philippine Scouts. Lieutenant John Buckley is a famous naval officer because he was the one who helped General Douglas MacArthur escape Corregidor Island. In fact, there are many books written about it because they escaped in a PT boat. This is a rock fragment from the famous Malinta Tunnel located in Corregidor Island, which is still a tourist attraction to this day. These are the men who served Douglas MacArthur in Corregidor. One of them is Admiral Thomas Kincaid of the 7th Fleet, and he eventually left the Philippines because he was worried about what would happen after Pearl Harbor. This is a painting of Douglas MacArthur fulfilling his promise to the Philippines. I tell you, every Filipino knows about his famous 3 words, "I shall return." This is the main reason why I wanted to visit MacArthur Memorial in Virginia, because I'm very fascinated with the Philippine resistant movements at that time. The most famous officers were Wendell Fertig, whose headquarters was in the south, and Russell Volkman, as well as Donald Blackburn, whose headquarters were in northern Luzon. But there were other American officers at that time, such as Robert Lapham of the Luzon Guerrilla Armed Forces, and Edwin Ramsey, and other officers who created a movement that really helped eventually gain liberation from the Japanese occupation. This is a photo of Wendell Fertig, who led the movement in Mindanao. And these are all the guerrillas all over the Philippines. Look at that. There's a lot of guerrillas fighting against the Japanese. Filipino women also supported the guerrilla activities back then. This is a photo of Colonel Kang Leon, who was the guerrilla leader in Leyte at that time. This is a painting depicting the surrender of Japan to Douglas MacArthur. It was done on a USS warship. I forgot the name, but I will tell you, Cher did a music video in a very skimpy outfit on the same warship, which was really ironic and made a lot of people angry, but that's beside the point. This is the articles involved during the surrender. You just saw a pen that was signed during the surrender. This is another pen used during the surrender. This one here is a photo of Noble, who is another American guerrilla officer in Luzon at that time. I believe he was eventually executed in Fort Santiago or Fort McKinley. This is the photo of their Emperor Hirohito at that time. After the surrender, the United States occupied Japan and helped rebuild their government and their economy. It was a really tricky time because communism was rising all over Asia, and Douglas MacArthur was worried that it would rise in Japan as well. During the end of the Second World War, there was an end of colonialism as well. You can see a photo of Ho Chi Minh of Vietnam because they wanted independence as well. MacArthur became a Freemason when he was living in Manila, just like his father, and these are some of his stuff. Douglas MacArthur was also involved in the Korean War, and I'm also fascinated with what happened at this time because of the Battle of Yotong, where Philippine soldiers were asked to fight against the communist soldiers. MacArthur was eventually fired from the Korean War by then President Harry Truman, so he and his family moved back to New York City and lived in the famous Waldorf Hotel. This is a photo of his son, Arthur MacArthur, who has eventually led a very private life. The SWPA stands for Southwest Pacific Area, and they were headquartered in Australia during the Second World War. They would also have reunions every year until the last dinner held in 1964. Here are some of the reunion dinner photos. MacArthur went back to the Philippines for the final time in July 1961 to celebrate the 15th anniversary of Philippine independence. He was given the key to cities of Manila and Cebu. You can see that there was a grand welcoming parade when he was in Leyte. MacArthur's autobiography is called Reminiscence. General MacArthur died in April 1964, and a lot has been said about this enigmatic figure, but he has carved out his place in history. I give him credit for that. And as a Filipino, of course, I always appreciate the liberation of the Philippines. That is his famous pipe. I believe it's called a corn pipe. And this is also his famous Ray-Bans. This is his office desk, complete with the original desk, the sitting chair, and everything else. And these are all of his medals from birth till death. And that's it for today. If you enjoyed watching this video, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.